Hey, welcome everyone. This is Sean Butner, Certified High Performance Coach, and this is Start Your Day Great, Start Your Day with a Coach. And this is the show where we help you figure out how to level up your life, how to live meaningful every day so that you are your best and can reach the level of abundance that you need for yourself and your family. So today we're talking about what to do when you're a little bit behind on a project, because I think we can all relate to that. One, two, there's a lot that can go around, like how you feel, actual tactics on how to get back on track, when to realize that it's okay to be off track, and to also not trick yourself into getting into that. So, as we go about today, if you know someone that you think needs to hear this message today on one, sometimes it's okay to be a little bit behind. Sometimes, you need to readjust, you need to shift in order to move forward quicker. Then please share this video with 3 people. And let's go, guys. Okay. So why am I talking about this today on the weekly recap? Well, it's because I have a project that I feel behind on, and it's something to do with a marketing project with my business. And it's been, like 2 weeks ago, I had a marketing sprint. If you're familiar with that, I'm originally from a technology background, so agile type stuff. So I've been really struggling with some messaging stuff. So and I share this, as a humble high performance coach, just saying that I also, I don't know everything. I'm still working on all this, high performance stuff myself. But, as part of it was kind of managing the ideas, right? Sometimes if you're, in a creative space, you have 50,000 things you want to do, and the thing you need to do is talk yourself down to focus on the one thing. So that was part of this last 2 weeks for me. Part of it was doing the work to get clear on, what I really wanted to achieve, what I really wanted to say, how I really wanted to connect with folks in this particular context. And so it was a lot of doing research. It was a lot of refining ideas. It was a lot of really trying to focus on what am I trying to put out in the world that, I connect with, that hopefully will connect with you guys. And so what I've settled on, and I guess this is kind of a little pivot in my business, but really, I think looking back at my career, looking back at the clientele that I've had in my coaching practice, the shift here in the last 2 weeks has been, okay, I think the people that I'm trying to reach and trying to teach and trying to inspire and trying to elevate are people that are leaders and also introverts, right? And I picked that because I've said quite a bit, if you've been with me before, that I'm an introvert. I think there's a lot of great examples of introverted leaders out there in the world. You got a lot of people in tech. You have people like Warren Buffett, but you also have Steve Jobs. You have Bill Gates. You have a lot of these people. I think Tim Cook right now would be considered a more introverted leader. And really just kind of breaking that down. What does that actually mean? If you're introverted, it just means you get your energy through not socializing, right? If you start the day with an energy cup, right? The cup that represents your energy, you start with that, full, and every time you do a social interaction, every time, you're doing things in a group, you're pouring a little bit of that energy out, whereas an extrovert would have that energy cup empty, and then every interaction they did that day, they pour a little bit of energy into it. So their cup would be full or overflowing by the end of the day, right? That's kind of a way to conceptualize what an introvert is. And what an introverted leader is someone, they tend to be people that are more thoughtful leaders, and not exclusively, right? So this is not a either or type situation. There's a whole spectrum of, you could be mostly introverted with some extroverted tendencies. You can be right in the middle where you confuse a lot of people. You could be 100% introverted, 100% extroverted. This is not a highly defined thing, but it's important to label it, because ultimately, leadership comes down to how are you serving your team? How are you serving the customers? How are you serving the world at large, right? And understanding your leadership style is very crucial into being an effective leader, right? If you're trying to be the loud, slap everyone on the back type guy, when you're not, people see through that. They don't trust you. You're not as effective as you are if you understand yourself and can apply your traits, your abilities, your competencies to leadership, right? And so I think that's a really important distinction. And you also think about the traditional business executive, the traditional manager. It's someone that is very extroverted, very people focused, and that's just not the case, right? There's a whole other side to that coin, and I think we need to be talking about that more. I think a lot of those introverted leaders can balance some of the, what am I trying to say here? They're really, that different style of leadership is more for collaboration. It's more for pushing a good idea. It's less about winning at all costs. I think is a little bit more extroverted, or trying to do things for attention. Is a little bit more extroverted instead of trying to do something for a cause, right? So trying to get some distinctions and language around that. So with that said, so that's kind of the shift in my business now, is to be focusing on those introverted leaders, So hey, it's Dr. EG3 and Dave, what's going on, guys? Thanks for being on. So what do you do when you're behind on a project, right? So again, for me, that's why I am late on this big marketing push that I'm doing right now, is getting that clarity. So number one, you got to be clear on what you're doing, right? And you can waste so much effort, so much energy, so much time spinning your wheels doing work, but if you don't know where you're going, it's really going to hold you back. It's going to frustrate you. It might overwhelm you. It might exhaust you before you're able to get back on track, right? So it'll prolong that the deadline, of you reaching that deadline, right? So get clear. The second thing is to really make sure you're engaging your energy and motivation, right? In high performance, we talk about how the power pack doesn't have energy, it generates it. So if you're feeling a little bit behind on a project, you have to generate the enthusiasm, the motivation, the energy to make sure you get it done. And you can generate all the energy in the world. Again, if you don't know where you're going, you don't have that clarity where you're going, that's not really going to help you all that much, right? So that's the second thing. So for me this week, I've really doubled down on my working out. So I've been, I do weight workouts Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every other day, I try to go for an hour walk. I've been doubling up on the Tuesdays and Thursdays and trying to take extra walks on the walk days. Just to kind of get the body moving. I think part of being distracted sometimes when you work from home, part of when you're a solopreneur like I am, when you're the one mostly doing the business, you need people you need to reach out to and talk to, which is very, very key. But it's also just shaking up the normal thing of, wake up in the home, have a cup of coffee, get dressed, start doing your work stuff for the day. So, that's it. So, having that, doubling down on your energy is super important. Again, so we have get clear on what you're doing, generate the energy you need to make it happen. And, the third thing, it's a little counterintuitive, but sometimes it's okay to be a little bit late if it's going to be more correct, right? And this is not perfectionism, right? What I'm saying is it's better to sometimes fix things earlier in the process than it is to try to fix it once you've implemented it. And I pull this directly from my experience in technology, where when you're writing software, there's a design for a feature, let's say Facebook, right? So I have an idea for features for social media where you can post pictures and text and all that stuff. And that's fine and all. And then you figure out technically how you're going to do it through like a design document. This is kind of, abstract here, guys, but you'd say, okay, so if I need to post a picture, I need to have a server, I need to have a connection, I need, you go through the list of things, and then you implement it. Now, if you realize that you only want to post particular types of high-res photos, and you don't think about that earlier on in the process, you might allow, like, so, an easy thing. So it's like, okay, you upload a photo, and you don't think like it should only upload photos, right? Maybe like more like Instagram. And in the design document, you say any file you can upload will work, right? It's much easier to say, no, we should check to make sure that it's an image file before we upload it, versus later in the process when we have people upload a bunch of different types of like garbage files, like, documents, Excel sheets, all that kind of stuff. Well, that wasn't our intention, right? It's much easier to fix it in design before you roll out all the code than it is to fix the code later, right? So that's kind of the sometimes, it's okay to delay a project so you fix it in the earlier phases of it, is what I'm saying. So at least that's how I'm thinking about that right now. And so how do you prevent yourself from continually tricking yourself into, oh, I'm just trying to, make it more perfect going forward? And that is, fourth thing, like, what are you doing actively each day, right? The last 2 weeks, it's been a lot of journaling. It's been a lot of brainstorming. It's been a lot of like pieces of paper like this and crossing stuff out and refining it. And so there was forward momentum, right? And for me, I think that's the key marker for projects, is like, are you getting closer to the mark, right? Or are you, gold plating and just doing things that don't really matter? That's the trick of it. That's maybe the art of managing a project and making sure that it's on time. But at the end of the day, it's something only you can answer. But I would say, how consistent are you at, putting effort towards making that change, right? In this case, it was brainstorming to get the messaging clear for my marketing projects, building marketing pages, so that's done, plotting videos that I'm gonna have to do for all this to support it, So there were critical things that happened this last 2 weeks that advanced the project. It just didn't get done when I thought it would. So, what's a project in your life that you're working on? Either personally, like maybe trying to fix the bathroom, renovate the kitchen or something, or professionally where, either the deadline's been set arbitrarily, or maybe that, once you started, you realized, oh, this is going to be a lot more work, or we need to figure out a lot more. You've discovered that there's a lot more clarity needed in it, If that rings a bell for you, just would you post it below, just a quick blurb on what's going on, so we can cheer you on, and just know that it's part of the process. So that said, guys, I hope you like this video. If you like these videos, every week I have a more in-depth piece of content that I put on my blog and newsletter, and you can sign up for that by going to seanbutler.com/blog or checking the link in my bio. So I hope if you enjoy these videos, you do that. You'll get an email from me every Sunday with a new video. Encouraging you to do your best, to perform better, to really find that meaning in your life and make a difference and impact in your organizations and communities. So I really do love that. So again, go to seanbutler.com/blog or check the link in my email if you haven't done it yet. If you are already on the newsletter, thank you. You guys are, usually inspire me and have thoughtful questions. So super appreciate that. That said, guys, go forth, live with more joy in your life, more personal growth, and more impact in your organizations and communities. Today, I'll see you guys on Monday. This is Sean Butner.